Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Man, I love this. Man, welcome back. Oh, that's right, man. Welcome back, Kingdom Builders, Road Trippers. Man, that's right. Akim and Akatim. Man, that's right. I've said brothers and sisters, mothers, fathers, aunties and uncles, grandmas and grandpas, man. Everybody in the freaking house, man. I love you all, man. Let's get this work. Let's get this work, family. All right. And you know the Most High is smiling down on us right now. He's like, look at my kids. Look at my kids getting this work. Look at my kids getting this work. All praises to the Most High. Abana Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, man. He's like, look at that. He's like, look at that. All praises to Yahweh, man. And we give all praises to the Father, man. Abana Yahweh. That's right. Glory to Yahweh Shai, man. That's the King High Priest, man. Honors to the Ruach HaKodesh, man. That's wisdom. Right? And my love and my respect goes out to each and every single one of y'all, Road Trippers, Kingdom Builders, man. My love is with you, and my respect is sitting in the same seat. You understand? The same seat. We're about to, hell, man. We're dipped in. Hey, man, check this out, man. We're bathed in water, bathed in fire. We're about to get these scrolls, okay? And right now, we're looking at chapter 4 of... Oh, my goodness. No, we're not looking at anything. We're starting a brand new one, man. This is First Maccabees. Sorry, man. My page was on the wrong... I had the wrong page flipped out, man. All right, First Maccabees. Check this out. This is what it says in the clip note. It says like this. The name Maccabee, probably meaning hammer, is actually applied to the books of Maccabees to only one man, Judas, third son of the priest Mattathias, and first leader of the revolt against the Seleucid king, who's persecuted the Yahsher'al, the Yahudim, right? The Yahudim. Traditionally, the name has come to be extended to the brothers of Judas, his supporters, and even to other Yahudim heroes of the period, such as the Seven Brothers. First Maccabees was written about 100 BC in Hebrew, and the original has not come down to us. Instead, we have an early pre-Christian, pre-Christian Greek translation full of Hebrew idioms. You already know what that means, man. Full of lies. All right. The author probably Yahudim is unknown. He was familiar with his traditions and sacred books of his people and had access to much reliable information on the recent history from 175 to 134 BC. He may well have played some part in it himself in his youth. His purpose in writing is to record the deliverance of Yahsher'al that Yahweh worked through the family of Mattathias, all right, especially through the three sons, Judas, Jonathan, and Simon, and his grandson, John Hyrcanus. All right, sorry, Salake. Anyway, that was it, man. So that was like kind of like the little prelude, I guess you would say, the First Maccabees. But anyway, we're about to start reading the book. Anyway, we're gonna read the book. You know what I mean? All right. We don't care what all these biblical scholars got to say. They don't know the Most High. And they don't got the Ruach, man. They ain't got no wisdom. Man, this is just what they say. You know what I'm saying? What do you say? 100 BC in Hebrew, but the original has not come down to us. Instead, they have early pre-Christian Greek translation full of Hebrew. Man, bunk all that, man. You know what I'm saying? We're going to read this book, bro. Chapter 1, First Maccabees. Let's get this work, man. Let's begin. Hallelujah, man. Chapter 1, and it reads, It came to pass, after Alexander the Macedonian, the son of Philip, who came out of the land of Chittim and struck Darius, king of the Persians and Medes. It came to pass, after he had struck them, that he reigned in his stead. All right, man. All right, so, like I said, reigned in his stead. In former time over Greece, and he fought many battles and won many strongholds and killed the kings of the earth and went through the ends of the earth and took spoils of a multitude of nations. And the earth was quiet before him, and he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up, and he gathered together an exceedingly strong army and ruled over countries and nations and principalities, and they became tributary to him. And after these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die, and he called his servants, which were honorable, which had been brought up with him from his youth, and he divided to them his kingdom while he was yet alive. And Alexander reigned 12 years, and then he died, and his servants bare rule, each one in his place. And they did all put diadems upon themselves after he was dead. And so did their sons after them many years. And they multiplied evils in the earth. And see what I'm saying? And they're still doing it, right? And they're sitting right now in presidencies, right? Those are the evil kings of the earth. Pay attention. Verse 10. Pay attention. All right. And there came out of them a sinful root, Antiochus Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been a hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. In those days came there out of Yahsher'al transgressors of the law, and persuaded many, saying, Let's go and make a covenant with the Gentiles that are around us. For since we are parted from them, many evils have befallen us. And the saying was good in their eyes. And certain of the people were forward here in the land went to the king, and he gave them license to do after the ordinances of the Gentiles. And they built a place to exercise in Jerusalem according to the laws of the Gentiles. And they made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the Kodesh covenant and joined themselves to the Gentiles and sold themselves to do evil. And the kingdom was well ordered in the sight of Antiochus, and he thought to reign over Mizraim, and he might reign over the two kingdoms. And he entered into Mizraim with a great multitude, with chariots and with elephants and with horsemen and with great navy. And he made a war against Ptolemy, right? You've heard of Ptolemy, right? King of Mizraim. And Ptolemy was put to shame before him and fled. And many fell wounded to death. And they got possession of the strong cities and the land of Mizraim. And he took the spoils of Mizraim. And Antiochus, after he had struck Mizraim, returned to the 143rd year and went up against Yahsher'al in Jerusalem with a great multitude, and entered presumptuously into the sanctuary, and took the golden altar and the candlestick, right? And the candlestick, and of the light, and all that pertained thereto, and the table of the shewbread, and the cups to pour withal, and the bowls, and the golden censers, and the veil, and the crowns, and the adorning of the gold which was on the face of the temple, right? And he peeled it all off. And he took the silver and the gold and the precious vessels, and he took the hidden treasures which he found, or which he stole. Stolen, right? It was stolen. So it's all good, man. All right. So let's continue anyway. All right. 24, and it reads, And when he had taken all, he went away into his own land, and he made a great slaughter, and spoke very presumptuously. And there came great mourning upon Yahsher'al in every place where they were. And the rulers of the elders groaned, and virgins and the young men were made feeble, and the beauty of the women was changed. Every bridegroom took up lamentation. She that sat in the marriage chamber was in heaviness, and the land was moved for its inhabitants thereof, and all the house of Yaakov was clothed in shame, with shame. And after 2 full years, the king sent a chief collector of tribute to the cities of Yehudah, and he came to Jerusalem with a great multitude, and he spoke words of peace to them in subtlety, and they gave him credence, and he fell upon the city suddenly, and struck it very sore, and destroyed much people out of Yahsher'al. And he took the spoils of the city, and set it on fire, and pulled down the houses thereof, and the walls thereof on every side. And they led captive the women and the children, and the cattle they took in possession. And they built the city of David with a great and strong wall, with strong towers, and it became to them a citadel. And they put there a sinful nation, transgressors of the law, and they strengthened themselves therein. And they stored up arms and food, and gathered together the spoils of Jerusalem. They laid them up there, and they became a sore snare, and it became a place to lie in wait and against the sanctuary, and an evil adversary to Yahsher'al continually. Are you paying attention? Listen. And they shed innocent blood on every side of the sanctuary, and defiled the sanctuary, and the inhabitants of Jerusalem fled because of them, and they became an habitation of strangers, and she became strange to those who were born in her, and her children forsook her. Her sanctuary was laid waste like a wilderness. Her feasts were turned into mourning, her Shabbats into reproach, her honor into contempt. Pay attention. Verse 40, and it reads, man, according to her glory, so was her dishonor multiplied, and her high estate was turned into mourning. And King Antiochus wrote in his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and that each should forsake his own laws, and all the nations agreed according to the word of the king. And many of Yahsher'al consented to his worship, and listen to this, and sacrificed to the idols, and profaned the Shabbat. And the king sent letters by the hand of the messengers to Jerusalem and the cities of Yehudah, that they should follow laws strange to the land, and should forbid whole burnt offerings, and sacrifice and drink offerings in the sanctuary. Listen to this. And should profane the Shabbats and feasts, and pollute the sanctuary and those who were Kodesh, that they should build altars and temples and shrines for altars, for idols, right? Listen. And should sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts, and that they should leave their sons uncircumcised, that they should make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanliness and profanation. Profaneness, right? So that they might forget the law and change all the ordinances, and whoever will not do according to the word of the king, he will die. According to all these words wrote he to his whole kingdom. And he appointed overseers over all the people, and he commanded the cities of Yehudah to sacrifice city by city. And from the people were gathered together to them many, every one that had forsaken the law, and they did evil things in the land. And they made Yahsher'al to hide themselves in every place of refuge which they had. And on the 15th day of Chislev, in the 145th year, they built an abomination of desolation upon the altar, and in the cities of Yehudah on every side they built idols, altars. And at the doors of the houses and in the streets they burned incense, and they tore in pieces the books of the law which they found, and set them on fire. Oh my goodness, what an blasphemy! And wherever was found with a book of the covenant of if any consented to the law, the king's sentence delivered him to death. So did they in their might to Yahsher'al, to those that were found month by month in the cities. And on the 25th day of the month they sacrificed upon the idol altar of Yahweh, and the women that had circumcised their children had put to death according to their condemnation, according to the commandment. And they hanged their babies about their necks, and destroyed their houses, and those who had circumcised them. This is terrible. This is terrible. And many in Yahsher'al were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat unclean things, and they chose to die, and they might not be defiled with the meats, and that they might not profane the Kodesh covenant, and they died. And there came exceedingly great wrath upon Yahsher'al. That's the end of chapter 1. What a sad story, man. That's terrible, bro. That is terrible. That's horrible, man. All right, man. Chapter 2. This is a long one, and we're going to get it, though. In those days rose up Mattathias, the son of John, the son of Simeon, a priest of the sons of Joarib from Jerusalem, and he lived in Modin. And he had 5 sons, John, who was surnamed Gadis, Simon, who was called Thasi, Judas, who was also called Maccabees. All right. Eleazar, who was called Avaran, Jonathan, who was called Aphas. And he saw the blasphemies that were committed in Judah and in Jerusalem, Yahudah in Jerusalem, and he said, "Woe is me! Why was I born to see the destruction of my people and the destruction of the Kodesh city, and to dwell here, to dwell there, when it was given into the hand of the enemy, the sanctuary into the hand of aliens? Her temple is become as a man that was glorious. Her vessels of glory are carried away into captivity. Her infants are slain in her streets. Her young men with the sword of the enemy." With the enemy! Hallelujah. Verse 10. What nation has not inherited her palaces and gotten possession of her spoils? Her adorning is all taken away. Instead of a free woman, she has become a bondwoman. And behold, our Kodesh things and our beauty and our glory are laid waste, and the Gentiles have profaned them. Why should we live any longer? And Mattathias and his sons tore their clothes and put on sackcloth and mourned exceedingly. And the king's officers that were enforcing the apostasy came into the city Modin to sacrifice, and many of Yahsher'al came to them. And Mattathias and his sons were gathered together. And the king's officers answered and spoke to Mattathias, saying, "You are a ruler and an honorable and great man in the city, and strengthened with sons and kindred. Now therefore come you first, and do the commandment of the king, as all the nations have done, and the men of Yahudah, and those who remain in Jerusalem. And you and your house will be in the number of the king's friends, and you and your sons will be honored with silver and gold and many gifts." And Mattathias answered and said with a loud voice, "If all the nations that are in the house of the kingdom dominion listen to him, to fall away, each one from the worship of his fathers, and have made choice to follow his commandments, yet I and my sons and my kindred will walk in the covenant of our fathers. Heaven forbid that we should forsake the law of the ordinances. We will not listen to the king's words to go aside from our worship on the right hand or on the left." And when he had left speaking these words, there came a Yahudi in the sight of all to sacrifice on the altar which was in Modin, according to the king's commandment. And Mattathias saw it, and his zeal was kindled, and his reins trembled. And he showed out his wrath according to the judgment, and ran and killed him upon the altar. And the king's officer, who compelled men to sacrifice, he killed at that time, and pulled down the altar. And he was zealous for the law, even as Phinehas did to Zimri, the son of Salu. And Mattathias cried out in the city with a loud voice, saying, "Whosoever is zealous for the law and maintains the covenant, let him come out after me." And he and his sons fled into the mountains and forsook all that they had in the city. Then many that sought after justice and judgment went down into the wilderness to dwell there, right? They and their sons and their wives and their cattle, because evils were multiplied upon them. And it was told the king's officers and the forces that were in Jerusalem, the city of David, that certain men who had broken the king's commandment were gone down into the secret places of the wilderness, and many pursued after them, and having overtaken them, they encamped against them and set the battle in array against them on the Shabbat day. On the Shabbat day, they went in on the Shabbat day, man. On the Shabbat day, all right. Well, this is what it says, though. All right. Check this out. 33, and it reads, "And they said to them, So far come out, and do according to the word of the king, and you will live. And they said, We will not come out, neither will we do the word of the king to profane the Shabbat day. And they hurried to give them battle. And they answered them not, neither cast they a stone at them, nor stopped up the secret places, saying, Let us die all in innocence. In our innocence, heaven and earth witness over us that you put us to death without trial. And they rose up against them in battle on the Shabbat, and they died, they and their wives and their children and their cattle, to the number of 1,000 souls. And Mattathias and his friends knew it, and they mourned over them exceedingly. And one said to another, If we all do as our kindred have done, and fight not against the Gentiles for our lives and our ordinances, they will now quickly destroy us from off the earth. And they took counsel on that day, saying, Whoever will come against us to battle on the Shabbat day, let's fight against him, and we will in no wise all die, as our kindred died on the secret place. Then we gathered together to them a company of Hazadeans, mighty men of Yahsher'al, every one that offered himself willingly for the law, and all those who fled from the evils were added to them, and became a stay to them. And they mustered an army, and struck sinners in their anger, and lawless men in their wrath, and the rest fled to the Gentiles for safety. And Mattathias and his friends went around and pulled down the altars, and they circumcised by force the children that were uncircumcised, as many as they found in the coast of Yahsher'al. And they pursued after the sons of pride, and the work prospered in their hand. And they rescued the law out of the hand of the Gentiles and out of the hand of the kings, neither suffered they the sinners to triumph. And the days of Mattathias drew near that he should die. And he said to his sons, Now have pride and rebuke gotten strength, and a season to overthrow and wrath of indignation. And now, my children, be you zealous for the law, and give you lives for the covenant of your fathers. And call to remembrance the deeds of our fathers, which they did in their generations, and received great glory in an everlasting name. Was not Abraham found faithful in temptation, and it was reckoned to him for righteousness? Joseph, in the time of his distress, kept the commandment, and became Adon of Mizraim. Phinehas our father, for that he was zealous exceedingly, obtained the covenant of an everlasting priesthood. Joshua, for fulfilling the word, became a judge in Yahsher'al. Caleb, for bearing witness in the congregation, obtained a heritage in the land. David, for being merciful, inherited the throne of the kingdom forever and ever. Elijah, for that he was exceedingly zealous, for the law was taken up into heaven. Hananiah, Azariah, Mishael believed that they were saved out of the flame. Daniel, for his innocence, was delivered from the mouth of the lions. And so consider from you from generation to generation, that none that put their trust in him will lack for strength. They will not lack for strength. And not be afraid of the words of the sinful man, for his glory will be dung and worms. Today he will be lifted up, and tomorrow he will in no wise be found, because he is returned to his dust, and his thought is perished. And you, my children, be strong, and show yourselves men, and behave in behalf of the law. For therein will you obtain glory. And behold, Simon your brother, I know that he is a man of counsel. Give ear to him always. He will be a father to you. And Judas Maccabees, he has been strong and mighty from his youth. He will be your captain, and he will fight the battle for your people. He will fight the battle for the people, man. For the people, for our people. 68, man. Let's read, family. Render a recompense to the Gentiles, and take heed to the commandments of the law. And he blessed them, and was gathered to his fathers. And he died in the 146th year, and his sons buried him in the sepulchres of his fathers at Modin. And all Yahsher'al made great lamentation for him. That's the end of chapter 2. All right. That's Maccabees, man. Judas Maccabees. The only Judas that I got respect for in this book. Because the other Judas, man, we ain't messing with that naga. But anyway, man, we're going to jump back into chapter 3 and jump back in. These are a little bit longer, so we're going to kind of spread them out a little bit more. Hallelujah. That's right, man. I love you. Do you know that? Do you know that I love you? Do you know that? Man, you don't know nothing, man. Check this out. I love you, and I love my family, and I love everything that we stand for. I love Yahsher'al. I love the mission. I love our people, and I love our future. I love the kingdom that we're going to inherit very soon, and I hope that you love it too. In the meantime, in between time, shalom, peace and blessings to each and every single one of y'all, man. Shalom. Oh yeah. I'll see y'all soon, man. All praises to the Most High. All praises to Yahweh, man. I'll see you soon, man. Love you. Yeah.